Hello, I'm MPX and welcome back to the Minecraft update video. Today I have some pretty good news to share with you all because a brand new snapshot or beta update is now available for Minecraft Java Edition. It's called 18W498 because it's the first snapshot in the 49th week of 2018, and the interesting thing about this snapshot is it adds not just one brand new type of village like last week, but two brand new types of villages, one of which has never been seen in Minecraft Java Edition before. It's a bedrock village, the snowy village, and it's hugely different in Java, I think hugely better, and today I'm going to be talking about both new types of villages, as well as berries, and as well as all the other news that has come about in the last week that I hope you do all enjoy and do like learning about with this video. You can like it if you do like it, because it helps out the channel, and let's say you do like seeing the new villages, because this is a snowy village, which again, whole brand new category of village for Minecraft Java Edition. So I guess we should start by just diving straight into these snowy villages. As always, I will be providing not just one type of snowy village, but a couple, to give you a real impression of what they're like, because snowy villages are something which have existed in Minecraft Bedrock for quite some time, but they were an exclusive feature until just now. However, even though they've been added to Java, they've been added in an entirely different form, where they've taken some inspiration from like a tiger, set of blocks, but really it's just a whole brand new set of stuff together, including a brand new well we've never seen before in Minecraft. Any type of village. As you can see, it's like a frozen kind of statue kind of thing in the center. I liked a lot. Next to the frozen statue, you're going to find a bell on top of one of these. These villages have bells as well, which definitely confirms this is going to be something pillager based later, in my opinion. Then we've got a bunch of lanterns hanging around the place, even directly above the potato farm, which has actually managed to stay, basically the water has stayed water because it's been unfrozen by the lanterns. So now these types of villages can sometimes actually spawn with food in them, making them more useful. Then we've got over here what clearly was at one point a cow farm, but I guess all the cows died during the winter. And then finally, because this is a pretty small village, we just also have a bed and two furnaces. It's pretty cool to have two furnaces in a Minecraft village again, but this is all I found in my first Minecraft village. It was pretty cool because of where it spawned, but it was kind of like, is this all the snowy villages offer? And the simple answer to that question is no, it's not all the villages offer, because if we go to a second village found just over here, in the void of nothing, according to Minecraft, but found just over here, there is a second snowy village, and this one is actually pretty big, one of the bigger types of villages you can find, so let's talk about it step by step. First of all, it's an interesting cross between new and old when it comes to stuff like villager planters. As you can see, the same basic structure has been maintained, but again, they've put lanterns above them, so the water stays water, and the plants stay planted, and they've also put little stairs on and off there, so villagers can walk up and down a bit easier. It's kind of cool to see, especially over here, as you can see, that there is multiple designs of the same thing, so no matter what season, no matter what type of biome you go into, you'll always be able to find some types of food. And in some particular biomes, you might also get lucky and find one of these brand new houses, which I've only seen in the Savannah and the snowy villages so far, which contain a chest with some maps and some bread to it. I mean, like, bread's not the most useful thing in the game, but if you want bread, you got it. And then we've also got some compasses, and all that sort of stuff next to one of these tables right here. They're called the Cartography Tables, and they're going to be used for making maps, as you can see from the map, the compass, and the globe, which is over the edge for some reason. Anyway, it's a really interesting block that doesn't got a use just yet, but it's a really, really exciting one to learn about for the future. So yeah, basically, there's a bunch of other buildings, and you can see how they've all got a similar design to them. If you're curious, the reason they have such a weird type of roof, it's a very steep roof, it's because in most climates where you're near mountains and learning are slow, you want it to kind of fall off your building rather than building on top and maybe breaking the ceiling eventually. So yeah, they're usually very, very steep slopes, and you see that in all the different types, except these ones, I guess, which are made out of snow themselves, and these ones which are made out of ice, which again, they're kind of cool little houses in my opinion, because they spawn with little blue beds. Every single biome has a different color of beds to it, which is another fun use of 1.14, and I'm liking the look of the snowy villages so far. But like I said, this isn't the only biome to see an update with the 1.14, at least with 1.14 so far. There is also, actually, wait, one more thing, it's worth noting, around the place, even in these cold biomes, you'll find the blast furnace just over here, and surprisingly enough, I thought this was a really weird placement, you can also find a smoker. There's one found just outside an igloo over here, and just, pro tip for real life, if you ever make an igloo, don't put a big fire just outside of it, snow melts when you do that. But yeah, there is a smoker just under here, in case you're curious, it's called the smoker. So yeah, you can find a lot of the new crafting blocks in each of the villages. Not all of the villages have the same crafting blocks necessarily just yet, but it's still pretty darn interesting to see, in my opinion. So yeah, snowy villages are this, but Savanna villages are also looking pretty delightful, as you can see right here. So Savanna villages are different to snowy villages, plains villages, and really every Minecraft villages we've seen in quite a few different ways, and let's kind of point them out one by one. So besides the fact that they have wheat bales all over them, and they have houses which are redesigned, we've seen them in previous screenshots before, the interesting thing about this Savanna village is the fact that it's a lot more freestyle, I would say. So first of all, the wells in the center, they have a lot more different forms, and they're all a bit more basic than otherwise, which I like, because I mean, wells don't need to be too fancy, they just need to like be a clear center point of the village. This works for that. You'll also find how there's just crops randomly all over the place. As you can see, this is, I think, melon stems, right? Yeah, melon stems with some, wheat just all around it. In the middle of nowhere, you'll find this all over the place in kind of odd places, in my opinion. You'll also find melons around these villages, and just in general, again, it's a very loosely defined village, but it's one I kind of dig. I like the mixture of these structures where, also brewing stand inside this one. I like the mixture of structures because of the fact that it contains, such a wide variety, and is kind of lazily spread about the place. I'm sure if you're, you like your organization, you like everything to be square from each other, this is a horrendous biome to look at, because look at this pathway, for instance. It kind of tries to climb up the mountain properly, and it goes left, right, left, right. The buildings themselves, I'm sure you can have your own criticism of. I think a lot of people in particular... Also, do you see, it's a chest of just a leather cap in there, but, a lot of people have had different criticisms of these buildings, but they fit the theme of the Savanna biome. The idea here is like, oh yeah, well, it's a really hot biome, so obviously the roofs are quite flat, because you don't need to, do anything with that. Again, it's kind of clever that they actually try to work out what these things should look like in real life, then kind of copy them for the game. Also, this biome is the first one I found to have smithing tables, quite a few of them, in fact, all around the place, so might be worth going to Savanna, specifically to look for smithing tables, not that they'll probably be hard to craft, and also lecterns I found inside a few of the libraries. Again, existing Minecraft buildings are being changed entirely. This is the brand new version of a library, so different to the current one. This is kind of like a brand new blacksmith, except there's also the brand new furnace room and blast furnace room. There's a lot of confusing mixtures of stuff going on here, and it's just an odd one to see. Anyway, let's go to sleep real quick. Let's experience what it's like to be in a Minecraft village, because now, when it turns to night, and you're in a village, they have the beds by default, which is a really huge improvement in my opinion. So yeah, there's chests all over this place offering free loot. There's wheat all over this place offering free wheat, melons, and even one of the amazing things to me is brewing stands. Obviously the brewing stands don't come with things in them, but the fact that you can find brewing stands, it's pretty great in my opinion. So yeah, overall, I'm liking the Savanna Village, but like I said before, also one more thing, yellow and orange windows, that's kind of fun, right? But like I said before, one village isn't enough to really give you the full opinion over, like whether it's good or bad. So here's a second village. I think it's a better one because this village right here, as you can see, is found near the sea. So this is a Savanna village. Again, I want to show you at least a couple of each one because Minecraft villages are so different to each other now, not only by biome, but also within the same biome. Look how different this biome, this village looks to the other one. First of all, the village well is like two wells sewed together for some reason. Also has a bell underneath it, but still, it's like, okay, so this is a weird thing, I guess. Then this one has one of these, like barrel hut things. Again, it's clearly going to be used for fishing in some way, based on the fish barrel texture and the fact that it's by the sea. But like, oh, Savanna villages are different when there's some water nearby with which the villagers can fish in, I assume. Again, that's my assumption on the logic. Kind of a cool thing. You can also see how like there's like some pathways going out to the sea a little bit, and even I don't know if this is a glitch or an intended feature, but I think it looks great regardless. Is the fact that these these crops can go all the way out onto the sea. Like if you look over here, they're literally planted on top of the water, which is a weird way to do thing, but it's actually something clever that I've never really properly thought of, or at least haven't thought about in a long time. Because if you have the crops like this, then obviously they're next to water all the time because the sea is like the best source of water. So yeah, there's a lot of crops found around these villages, there's a lot of different buildings found around them, and they're also very different to each other, but my favourite ones are the ones found by the sea because of the fishing barrels and because of the, I think they just look really good too. Like, personally, that's my opinion. This one goes in all four directions into the sea, and it's a great kind of find. However, one really intriguing fact about this seed, so if we go back to the previous, thing by killing ourselves, which is always a solution apparently in Minecraft. But yeah, basically one of the things about this that's worth noting is this is a seed for a zombie Savanna village. However, in this update, it's just a regular Savanna village, or I say regular, there's only one villager that I found within here, and he's over here somewhere, I think. But yeah, there's only, so there's something about this update. Maybe it just hasn't happened yet, or maybe it's yet to happen, but this update is going to be either removing zombie villages, or they've yet to be re-added. But yeah, this is a zombie village, but it looks nothing like a zombie village, because zombie villages right now aren't a Minecraft feature yet, and I don't know if they'll change that, because most people don't know about zombie villages. Most people who know about them don't care about them beyond, oh, that's a cool rare coincidence. And that's sad, but it's sadly true, too. So let's go now to talk about the last features in this update, because this update also changed the raids from last week. So previously, the Illager raids, if you had the bad omen effect on you, you went into a village, you get raided by villagers, and this could have lots of levels, lots of different effects. They've changed it now so that instead of just being a hard wave or an easy wave, there's different numbers of waves that can attack a village. So basically, Minecraft now has like a wave-based game mode. Again, I don't think it's perfectly tuned yet. I think it will change, so we'll wait until it properly finalizes to talk about it more. But they have changed the bad omen effect and the raiding part of villages again, which I think is kind of fun. We also have a brand new update in this thing, because we have the Tiger update, which was the thing we voted for at Minecon Earth, is now starting to come into the game. So basically, the one of the brand new features in the Tiger biome will be the sweet berries. They're not found in that biome yet, but you can find them in the creative menu, which is like a Tiger biome. But no, if you take the if you take some of these, they'll grow slowly from looking like this to looking like this, and then when they go from looking like that to looking like this, you'll find berries on them. Then they can go from looking like this to looking like this, with lots and lots and lots of berries. When they have, when they're like grown fully, they'll grow between 2 and 3 berries. So as you can see, that's 2 berries, etc. And then you can kind of use them like a crop. However, when they're not fully grown, so in between these 2 phases, they'll just kind of drop a single berry sometimes, sometimes not, and it's sometimes 2, but it's a whole thing where basically you need to wait till they fully grow, and then you get these. However, the interesting to me is not just the fact that, like, okay, so there is a new food in Minecraft, is it any good? Because the answer is no. It does one, saturation bar, one hunger bar, and it's just generally not a good food. You see how fast it went down? It's just not valuable, in this update, in my opinion. It's not going to be a food you eat because it's good. It's more interesting as a food right now, at least, because of how it plants. So first of all, it's a new crop in Minecraft, that's kind of fun, but every phase of the crop does something slightly different to you. As you can see, when that becomes a full bush, it's damaging to go in. That's right, bushes hurt you in this update, it seems. Kind of a weird thing. But yeah, as you can see, you just walk in there and ouch. Okay, they're thorny bushes, I guess. That's just a thing. But also, even when they're in the smaller phases, when you plant them down, they look like this in their earliest phase. When you stand inside these, they work like cobwebs and they slow you down. And oddly enough, they stop your jump height. So it's really, really weird to look at in third person. But basically, you can lock someone down into a block, because if these are covered on the ground, even if you're standing in between all 4 of them, as long as you're on a block which contains one of these, you can't jump out of it. So yeah, super, super weird thing that you kind of just stuck inside berry bushes. So yeah, berry bushes, honestly, everyone's excited for the Tiger biome. I'm going to be the guy who's like, you know what, you voted wrong. You voted for the wrong biome. You should have voted Savanna. We all know you should have voted Savanna. And as a result, we've got berry bushes that I think are interesting because they work like cobwebs and that might be useful. But I personally think, like, okay, so we've got a painful bush that gives not very good food and is sometimes kind of useless. And that's honestly my opinion on this, on the berry bush. It's like, we're going to have to wait and see where this goes. I'm sure, like a lot of features in this update, there are changes yet to come. But for now, it's not looking so good. So, in other Minecraft news, because this is the big weekly, once-a-week go-through of all the Minecraft news, we also have news regarding Jasper and the new textures. So, the brand new textures will be, again, re-releasing next week. Every few weeks, Jasper does some new textures. So, you can see, like, wood changed a few weeks ago, so diamond and gold and bedrock, etc. And next week, there's going to be another big update, but then Jasper's going on Christmas leave. So, there's going to be a big break on new textures after then. So, if you are looking forward to the new textures and or the opposite, you're really not looking forward to them, then that's good and also bad news. And then my final and favorite piece of news this week. So again, I like these big once-a-week news videos. We can kind of summarize everything together. One of my favorite pieces of news was just something I found on the Choosing Beggars subreddit. Again, like kind of by accident. So Choosing Beggars is one of my favorite subreddits because you know the phrase, beggars can't be choosers. It's a quite widely known one, and it's what most people believe to be true. Well, that's not what applies, to a lot of people apparently. It's not a true fact because someone emailed Jeb saying, "School interview. Dear Jens Bergenstein, that's Jeb's real name if you don't know, I am a 6th grade student in school, and then they say their school. I have a project and I have to interview someone, so I reached out to you because it seemed like the best choice. This is mandatory, so it is best if I get answers. I have a few questions. These are probably easy questions to answer. Clear, short, detailed answers are preferred. And then they ask a bunch of questions, and then he goes, again, this interview is mandatory, and it is preferred to hear from you. And it was just like, my God, what is this message? You know, like what? You know, like I guess as a YouTuber, you kind of see this a bit too, where some people are just like, hey, you know, make sure you join my wall, put it in a video, and then pay me for the privilege of doing so. And it's like, what sequence of things did you just ask? Like a lot of people are unaware of like, you know, like. I feel like asking for favors for anyone is hard for me. Some people feel fine asking entire strangers, let alone, you know, very busy strangers for a lot of stuff, and that's why that was like, oh, that's a funny thing. But Jeb, it was funny because I didn't realize till afterwards, it was actually Jeb that posted that, so when Jeb did post that, he also responded to the Reddit thread on it, because someone asked him saying, hey, Jeb Bergenstein, I'd really like to ask a few questions from you. What do you intend to do for the Village and Pillage update? Do you plan to add more bosses in the future? Do you plan to make Bedrock Edition for Minecraft, for macOS? Answering these questions are mandatory. And he says, well, I mean, I guess it's mandatory. So he had, again, genuine Jeb responds to this saying, most stuff is in snapshots already. Technically, I don't do much in the game itself anymore. I'm more of an expert opinion. So he kind of confirms that after the, you know, remaining villages and stuff, they want to start focusing on releasing it, but we'll see how that goes into the new year. Then the second question is yes, and the third question is our ambition is to bring all players together. So he confirms indirectly that, yeah, Bedrock Edition for macOS is something he wants, but then interestingly enough says, do you plan to add more bosses in the future? Yes, that's a very clear yes, 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 even though there was that fun joke of like, can we get 1 million retweets for a new boss, and it never quite got to 1 million. It seems as though the idea for a new boss has never quite left Jeb's head. So yeah, brand new boss in Minecraft, maybe 1.15, maybe 1.16. It is definitely something they want to do. They don't think they have too many bosses, and that's something I think is exciting, or at least interesting, or at least, it's a lot of things in my opinion, but yeah, that's something that I'm looking forward to as of, you know, the next few updates. So for now, also a quick little thing we'll do here, as you can see, by the way, all the edges on the berry bush, just like this in case you want to see it. I think it's kind of a fun thing to see, just like grow the bush berries really quickly. I think that this update, this week's update is not the biggest one we've seen so far, but it's cool that we got 2 brand new fully fledged villages. I'm still so hyped for the, you know, the jungle villages. That's perhaps the biggest new one coming yet. And in general, for this update as a whole, I think it is one of the best updates Minecraft's released. I've stated my opinions on that before, but I think this this update, despite adding not very much, still kind of shows that, like, even on an off week, a lot happens. Berries, despite their many shortcomings, despite their many shortcomings, you know, I can't list all the berry shortcomings right now, but despite all of those shortcomings, which it definitely does have, because it's berries and it's terrible, that's right, berries have a lot of shortcomings. I could rag on them for another 20 minutes, but I won't. What I'll do instead is I'll say, the thing about berries, though, is even if they stay bad, even if these are awful features, I still think they're going to be mildly interesting just to farm because they're so easy to. It's like, oh yeah, you plant them down and then you come back a bit later and then magically you get more berries from them. Personally, I think that's very, very interesting gameplay, and I think, you know, like, all you have to do is make them, like, maybe made into a berry pie or a berry something, you know, like, just have some tiny use for berries, and then boom, we've got ourselves a very use for them. I think bamboo is already going to be a fun thing to farm 1.14, but maybe, just maybe, berries will be too. Anyway, with that said, thank you very much for watching today's Minecraft feature preview / update video. You can like this video if you did like it, because it helps out the channel and lets know you do like the Minecraft update videos and like seeing every Wednesday just going through all the stuff in one place. You can share this if you really liked it, and you can subscribe if you're around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure to check out the playlist if you want to learn more about this update, about lanterns, about all these weird blocks, about all the new things, the cats, the new blocks, the new everything in this update. You can learn about those by, of course, checking out that thing linked down below. And I guess for now, I'll see you all in another one. Goodbye.